Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thank you for dropping by for yet another chess video. So on this channel you guys have had the opportunity to see quite a few different chess sets, both small, big ones, less expensive, more expensive, all the way up to like the fine luxury ones. As you guys know, I'm really kind of a sucker for luxury chess pieces, so this time around I'm super excited to bring you guys yet another chess set. 4.6-inch prestige luxury Staunton chess pieces from Royalchessmall in bud rosewood and boxwood. Now up to this point I've already acquired about 3 chess sets from Royalchessmall, including a storage box. I've been very pleased overall with the quality. I've been very pleased with their communication, and like I said, when I find a company that I'm pleased with, that I find to be reliable and that communicates well, I tend to stick with that company because I have a certain expectation, you know, moving forward. So if I would like to acquire another chess set in the future, say, I have a certain selection of chess distributors that I relatively, you know, trust, and I tend to kind of only select my chess sets through those distributors, and Royalchessmall is one of those distributors that I can safely say, okay, you know, I have a certain amount of money, let me go check out what merchandise they have, so that way I know what to expect out of, you know, the chess pieces. It's not like I'm gonna go look at something on the website and say, wow, that looks great, but then I'm like, is it really gonna come that way, or is it gonna come somehow, you know, not as good? But no, Royalchessmall delivers, so I've been really happy with them. In fact, if you haven't seen my previous videos of their pieces, it's really good. Some of the chess sets that I got from them, I've been very, very happy overall. Anyways, this particular chess set, and I'll show you guys here up close in just a minute, but before I dive in, currently this particular chess set on Royalchessmall retails for $399, so $400, but they have $20 off right now, so it's $375. As of right now, they do have a store-wide offer, so if you spend more than $300, you get a 20% off. So don't quote me on that, because by the time that some of you guys are watching this video, it might not be the case anymore. However, right at this moment, it's still on. So if I take my calculator and I put in $379 times and remove 20% off, basically we are getting $303. So this particular chess set is a great deal for, if you guys will see up close right now, very nice luxury chess set. Now on the webpage, as it goes with a lot of these chess sets, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, they don't mass produce these things. As nice as they seem, and as obvious an idea that products of demand should be mass produced, chess sets are not mass produced. These pieces are made by hand, and in fact right now, as I'm looking at it right now, there's only 2 sets left in stock. So by the time that a lot of you guys watch this video, if you're one of the first ones to watch the video, you might be able to pick yourself this particular set, but later on it might not be available anymore. In fact, I've seen some of the chess sets that I have from like House of Staunton that I purchased some time ago, like a year ago, they're not available anymore because, well, they don't produce that particular chess set, or for some reason. In fact, there's been some chess sets out there, and I've mentioned these before, like the vintage looking chess sets from House of Staunton, that have not been available for like 2-3 years, and I've called the company and they would say, well, we should be able to get some availability sometime in the future. But it's like, welcome to the world of handmade items, guys. It's not Amazon that delivers like next day anything you want. It's more of like LL Bean. I like the company LL Bean for clothing, but sometimes you look for like a sweater or something and they're gonna say, oh, next time this sweater is available, even though you order today, it'll arrive in like 6 months when they make it, so you don't get it the next day. Same with this. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at this chess set. Okay, so as much as I'd like to start off with showing you guys the king, the queen, and kind of taking you guys in that order, I was too excited, so I just wanted to show you guys the coolest feature of this particular chess set. And I moved the chess set here to the sunlight because I wanted to show you guys how the chess pieces reflect in direct sunlight, which is really quite significant, really quite pretty. Let's take a quick look at these knights. I mean, look how pretty they are, how elaborate these particular knights are. Now you have this like combination of a large mane here in the back. Check this out. This is kind of very similar to the Turin chess set that I showed you guys before from House of Staunton. He had a very similar type of elaborate mane like this with a couple of holes in between. Just that detail. I mean, imagine the fact that these chess pieces are like hand carved, and it just takes so much time to make this. So like I said, these are not mass-produced pieces by any means. You have the second mane here, like on this side you have this sort of a one strand, and then if we turn it to the other side, we have two on this side, and hopefully in this direct sunlight you guys will be able to see it, but two really quite nice. These type of a mane here, and sorry for all the sounds that are going on because I'm outside. I just wanted to make this video a little different. This type of mane where it's kind of laying on the side, similar to like the Austrian coffee house chess set that she did a video about a couple of months ago, but also quite elaborate, very nice extra detail. I like how it looks. It feels like it's both sort of this and this, almost like they took two different designs and just put them together. Then we have the pointy ears with extra detail on the ears if you look at it from the very top, and we got the little holes inside of the ear, so details. That's pretty awesome. The face here has a lot of details too. The protrusion of the eyes and the eyebrows above the eyes really kind of show us that a lot of time went into perfecting the face. You have the jaw muscles here. Check this out. The half open mouth with teeth on top and bottom. And then if we look at it from the front, we have this sort of relief here, and then the nose kind of drops off to the side. See that, guys? Really nice chess pieces. This set is triple weighted, so they do feel heavy. Unlike the Turin chess set, this part here does not come off. It doesn't like unhinge or anything, so that's nice to see. I don't know how I felt about when the chess pieces kind of like you can unscrew them. That's kind of weird. But on the bottom here we have an extra detail. This, I haven't had any chess pieces. I don't think I've had any chess pieces that have this little part right here, but it also looks cool, adds to the detail. Really quite nice. Now the bud rosewood that we see right over here is just gorgeous to view in direct sunlight, because it's one of those woods that'll have this sort of a reflection to where it makes it look a slightly different color in sunlight than it does in like indoors. It's just this property of this particular wood, and I like that. We've seen the same type of property with some of the more expensive chess sets from House of Staunton, like the Modena and the Turin. We've seen this before, and whenever I get a really nice chess set that I feel really excited about, like this one here, I like to take the extra time to go outside, even though I don't like to film outside. But look how cool this is. I showed this to my wife and she was like, "Ooh, I like these." Now she's very picky when it comes to knights, and so whenever I get a chess set, I always show her the knight and she'll say yay or nay. So she's very picky. She's like, "Nah, I don't like it that much." But this one, she was like, "Oh yeah, this is a really pretty one." So the bottom of these chess pieces is a nice dark green felt. As I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, dark green felt's a little bit higher quality than like bright green, and it's softer and it slides better. I feel like in some situations on wooden boards it kind of has a little bit of a smoother slide to it. The base is nice and wide, and overall very lovely chess pieces. Let me show you the other ones. Okay, so let's take a look at the kings. As I mentioned to you guys previously, the kings are 4.6 inch in height, but a very unusual I think this finial looks really cool. It's not really a cross like we usually see in a lot of the other kings. The finial does not come out. I've seen some chess pieces where the finial will come out for some reason. I don't know if they want you to glue it yourself or whatever, but they did the favor so you don't have to remove the finial. And then the top here is very, very rounded. This type of roundness we've seen in, once again, I think we've seen this in the Turin, the Modena chess set. The top is very round. Then we have extra details. Look at this. We have details. We have a bunch of rings over here. We have the main large ring. Then we have a smaller ring, and then an even smaller ring. And then on top of that, we have an even smaller ring right over here. So 4 rings in total. And then, if that wasn't enough, we have these little side rings on the neck right over here. They look so cool because as you'll see in some of the other chess pieces of this particular chess set, all these rings here are present. This is kind of like the signature mark of this particular chess set, and then it sort of diverts into the base. Once again, here you could see there's a couple of rings, a couple of step rings, and it diverges into a large base. These kings are relatively heavy, and the felt is nice and broad. It's not entirely, as you can see, there's still a little bit of it, but like the way that it works is it converges down into this felt. It's a nice feature because if the felt was all the way to the very outside, then every time you're playing this chess set you'll be able to see the felt, but the way that it kind of converges down here, when you're actually playing this chess set, you know the felt's underneath it, but you don't readily see it, and it kind of makes it nice. But just look at the way that the dark king sort of reflects in the sunlight. That's so cool. That's so awesome. Okay, let's take a look at the queens. As per usual, we do get 4 queens with this particular chess set, but I'm just going to show you guys 2 of those 4 queens for the sake of making a simpler image. But yeah, really quite nice. As you could see here, right down the middle, right over here, we have those 2 little stripes. Like I said, it's kind of the signature mark of this particular chess set. And then starting here from the top, a lot of times on the very top we don't really have anything on the queens, or we might have just like the really tiny little ball. But in this particular case we have a tiny ball, then we have what looks like almost an extra little skirt or a disc that connects to the top of the queen, and then the very top of the queen is just kind of a little bit bulbous right here on top, with nice spikes that are not too sharp, which is nice to see, because the sharper they are, the more likely that they're going to break off. Then it converges inwards into a large number of these rings. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, 4 rings, just like the king. Then it drops down, and we have a nice divergence into a very pretty base. Just like the king, the queen has a broad base, and all these pieces are made in such a way that they don't wobble or anything like that. So I'm really happy to see that this chess set's really made, you know, quality. Alrighty, these are the bishops. Really quite nice looking ones. Once again we see the repetitive pattern right over here. In the middle we've got these 2 little lines, and then on top, the top portion, we have a nice large cut through the top here. Usually in bishops we have kind of just like a little ball sitting, or like a half ball, but in this case it's sort of like this smushed looking pancake that actually is connected to this sort of a neck. So that's an unusual design for, we've seen a lot of different bishops, but this is kind of an interesting design. And because of the position of this top here in relationship to the cut, it does not have the cut does not go through the middle of this top. So I think it's a good overall decision, good design decision. And then it sort of drops down, connects with 1, 2, 3, 4 rings. Once again, the 4 ring repetition here, and then drops into a very similar type of a pattern of a base as we've seen in the other pieces. So really quite nice. Look at this, guys. Really nice chess pieces. This is what they look like from the top. And then in the base, we have that same nice luxury felt on the bottom. So really nice. I like this. These here are the rooks. Now the rooks are also have the same pattern over here. There is more detail on these rooks than we normally see. Rooks tend to be not very detailed. If you've seen a lot of my other videos, rooks tend to be kind of very similar to each other. But in this particular case, these rooks have a lot more detail. The top portion is relatively deep here. Okay, we have a total of 6 cuts, as you see on the top. And right up here, once this top portion ends, it's connected with this sort of a break right over here, and then we have an extra ring below right here. So there's extra details. Now this portion right here kind of converges into this neck. It's not as thick and as crude, as thick as some of the other rooks we've seen, but then it sort of diverges nicely. I think that this is a design choice because the way that this converges into these little 2 lines here is what makes it blend in with the other pieces so well, and then it converges out into the base that we've already seen, very similar. So these pieces are made with a particular design choice in mind, but they are all similar one to another. It's not like they've taken rooks from one chess set and just blended them into this set and let's play the games. No, it's all, you know, the design kind of follows from one piece to another. Pawns are relatively tall. Actually, because of the extra rings right over here, the pawns are a lot taller than some of the normal pawns we've seen before. In fact, the pawns, well, the king is 4.6. The pawns are, if we put them on top of another, they're pretty tall. So the pawns go well with this particular chess set, but they are a little bit taller than what we usually see. That is actually a good thing in my opinion, because some of the pawns that we've seen before are, in my opinion, a little too short. So the fact that you have these extra rings here makes the pawns look nice, and it just overall gives your chess set sort of an air of quality. And you know, it looks nice because consider this: you have 16 pawns on the board. Half of your pieces are pawns, so if you have nice looking pawns, the chess set will look nicer. If the company or whoever made the chess set invests into making a nice looking chess set, but the pawns are small and tiny and they didn't really put much detail into that, then the chess set looks okay. But in this particular case, I think the chess set looks really nice, and the pawns really add to that. Taking a look, we have the top portion here. It's nice, good, proportionately large ball, because when you're grabbing the pawn, you're going to be grabbing by the part kind of like above this, but it helps to put your fingers down on this portion right over here while you're grabbing the pawn, so you have something to grip onto. Just overall gives it a little bit more ergonomic, better grip. And the base is relatively wide for a pawn, and for its height, it sits well. It doesn't wobble or anything like that. Once again, luxury felt even on the pawns, so attention to detail has been really given to all the chess pieces in the set. And then you have a lot of rings. Once again, 4 rings here, just like the other pieces. Then we have, even on the pawns, the little tiny cuts right here in the middle, and then it diverges into a really nice broad base. So very nice. I'm very pleased with this chess set overall. Very pretty. Okay, so this is how the chess set looks on this particular board. This board is the walnut maple, I believe. We've seen this board before. It's the board that I obtained on, I think it was Facebook Marketplace for like $40. I've been using this board quite a lot. It's a 2.25 inch square board. Pieces here, as we are able to see, fit really nicely on a 2.25 inch. Maybe if you look closely right over here at the basis of the king and queen, there is a little bit of space limitations there, but not by much. And considering the other pieces are going to be that much smaller, I would safely say that a 2.25 board is going to be plenty for this particular chess set. And right over here in part of shade, we see how the boxwood chess pieces look. Really, really quite nice. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that these chess pieces blend in nicely with this board, or would you consider getting a different board for these pieces? I think it looks nice. In my opinion, it really blends in nicely. Also, I wanted to show you guys, as I said, it does come with extra queens, and this type of wrapping is what I wanted to show you guys, that it's really, really quite nicely wrapped in here with many, many layers of this kind of soft foam with additional, like, in fact, it's really hard to remove these pieces from there, but just want to show you guys that each individual piece is wrapped really nicely, so that way you avoid any type of damage or anything. And it is getting really hot outside, even though it's mid-September. It's like crazy. I'm sweating like crazy. My camera is overheating, but I still want to show you guys this last few little details. This is one of my other boards that I purchased some time ago, the glossy board. I think it's like black olive wood or something, but I'll include a link below in the description, so that if you're interested in purchasing this particular board, then you'll know where to find it. But this is a 2.5 inch square board, so you see here when we move in a little bit closer that we do have a little bit more room for the bases. So it really doesn't make that much of a difference, because I think that overall you can either do 2.5 or 2.25. I probably wouldn't go smaller than 2.25 with this particular chess set, just because then you're running into, you know, potentially not having enough space for your pieces. But overall looks very nice. And even though here, let me move the dark pieces into the light, I think these pieces look really nice overall on any kind of board, honestly. This board, that board, or any board you choose, I think they'll look really nice. Look very luxurious. And here's the light pieces. So nice. Now, cool thing about this particular chess set, before we dive in looking at this, is Royalchessmall kindly sends this little brochure with the chess set, and the brochure is really cool and informative. And in fact, you guys should pay attention to what this says, because this may be relevant to some of you guys who already have chess sets. Anyways, they start off with saying, you know, congratulations on purchasing this awesome chess set. That could be an heirloom or whatever it is, a gift, you know, take care of it. However, they say, please kindly note the instructions for care of the chess set. And this should be relevant to anybody really that has any wooden chess sets, okay? Please keep the wooden chess equipment away from direct sunlight in a medium moisture environment, okay? So the woods are not UV resistant and must be kept for use indoors only. The ideal room temperature should be between 54 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 12 degrees Celsius, to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 25 degrees Celsius. This is a very important note, because a lot of times when I've listened to you guys talk about, you know, where you like to place your chess sets, where's the ideal chess spot or chess table spot, some people out there, they like to put like their chess table right next to a window, and I've been doing kind of the same thing too. I put my chess table in my office or maybe in one of the sitting rooms, and I like to keep it next to the window because direct sunlight comes in, it illuminates the chessboard. It's aesthetic even when you're not playing chess, because the sunlight kind of illuminates the entire board and it just looks pretty. You can walk by it and you're like, wow, that's really pretty. But that means that direct UV light is bathing your chess set and your chessboard, your chess pieces every day, and potentially it could lead to damage. We don't think about this because, I mean, we just don't think about it. But unless you have UV resistant windows, which they have, like the old apartment complex that we used to live in, they would install UV resistant windows, and what happens is, which I don't think is a great idea, so to speak, because you're walking down the street and if you catch the reflection of the light of the window just right, it'll like send this warm beam all over your face, and you're like, why is it like a cool afternoon and I get this weird like sensation. No, there shouldn't. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think UV resistant windows should be something that should be practical, because we need UV light to penetrate the windows and kill like the bad bacteria that gathers in our house. But that's a different story. Either way, if you have normal windows, be aware of the fact that if you put your chess pieces, any chess pieces, as long as they're wooden, I mean plastic chess pieces probably not, wooden chess pieces, put them right next to the window, there's a chance that over time, I mean not immediately, but over time, for one, it could heat your chess pieces up. Like UV light could be constantly warming your pieces and potentially drying the wood inside. Also, it says in a medium moisture environment, so they want there to be a certain amount of humidity, which makes sense. I know that there's a lot of people who, like, for example, those who collect violins and all kinds of musical instruments, they sometimes, like the more expensive ones, they keep them in particular cases where the humidity is actually controlled within the suitcase. And I didn't really pay attention to that until my father-in-law, he showed me some of the violins that he has that are like 100 years old, and he keeps it in a humidity controlled suitcase because the humidity inside of their house might be like too much. So too much humidity or too little humidity, and these pieces could end up either developing mold or cracking. So just kind of keep that in mind. Humidity is less likely something that you can control, but definitely keep it away from windows, or try to keep it away from windows. That would be my suggestion to you guys. If you like this hint, if you like the suggestion, hit that like button, okay? So make sure to keep the pieces or the chessboard away from direct contact of heat. So makes sense. Once again, I mean, if you have it next to some kind of like a heat source or something, and it's heating your pieces up constantly, or your board, that is more likely to cause these pieces to crack over time. And use a dry lint-free cloth to wipe away any dust, fingerprints. Well, I mean, do you guys wipe away your pieces off of the fingerprints and stuff? I don't know. You get a warranty. So Royalchessmall provides you with a warranty, 3 years on the chess pieces, and for the chess boards, boxes, travel chess sets is 6 months. They provide warranty for cracking of both chess pieces and also like chess boards and everything. Now, cracking, as it describes here in terms and conditions, which makes sense, cracking that has happened by itself. So I bought one of my chess sets and one of my chess pieces cracked. Like, the crack just develops. You don't play with them, or they just sit there, and all of a sudden you revisit the chess set and you're like, whoop, there's a crack at the base. A crack that's just, maybe it's a defect of the wood, and maybe in a certain spot after processing it's a weak point, and it just sort of reaches its own, I don't know, its own lifetime and cracks. If that happens with your chess pieces, you need to inform the company, and if they have a replacement piece, they could replace it for you. So really cool that they're providing this little booklet. I am super thrilled that more chess companies should be responsible, or at least show that they're responsible for their merchandise, because that shows us that they care. And I feel like, if you're going to invest your money into a really nice chess set that hopefully you're going to keep for the rest of your life, you want to feel like it's backed up by a company that cares. And it feels to me like Royalchessmall cares about its customers and the product that they make. Okay. Alrighty, so my battery died, so I had to walk inside and plug my camera into the wall. But so I'm gonna be honest with you guys, for the past like week or so, maybe even 2 weeks, I haven't really had a chance to play any chess games that much, just because I've had a lot of stuff going on. As I'm sure you guys can relate. I try to play chess consistently, but sometimes other things get in the way. And yesterday I was at work, and during the lunch break I actually had a little bit of extra time, so I decided to go on chess.com and see if I could play a few games, and I was horrible. I was just like, what, I just wasn't good, and I've spent all that time beforehand really honing my skills and trying to get better at chess, and as you know, I've played a lot of games, only to realize that not having played for just a little bit, I was crap. My skill level is like, and then it's like, so that is something that I wanted to quickly talk to you guys about today before the end of this video. I know maybe it's not something you guys would necessarily want to hear, and I thought I would make a separate video for this, but I decided, what the heck, I'll make this little thing because I feel like this is helpful for some people. So here's the regular sort of scenario: is you play chess for a while. Let's say you play 10 games a day or 5 games a day or what have you, but you play regularly, and then you start to improve, get better at chess, get stronger, and then you stop. Okay? And then all of a sudden, just like me, maybe not to the same extent, because I find myself kind of not that smart. Anyways, boom, you lose a lot of that skill. So, you start playing again, maybe like a month passes, 2 months, and you're like, gosh, I'm so terrible. So you feel bad. Tell me, guys, I'm sure you've had this happen to you, but you feel bad and you are like, oh, and so you play 1 game or 2 games and you're like, oh man, maybe chess is not for me. You feel bad because it hurts your ego, and we all have an ego, however small it is. It's a sense of our own self-worth. It's not, you don't have to be an egotistical person. That's just that we all have an ego inside, and that ego tells us, man, you're not that smart. And then that hurts because you're like, well, I spent all this time learning the game and now I'm weak and I guess I'm stupid. Because that's, sometimes you can negative talk yourself into that. And then what you do naturally is you either continue playing to try to improve, or you don't. You just drop chess altogether. You know what? I'll just go do something else. That's a normal response, because if you continue playing, you'll continue to reinforce the fact that you're not that good anymore and you've lost all your skill, and all the time you spent learning the game, it's like, what was that all about? But here's the thing, just hear me out on this, okay? And I've been thinking about this. Okay, so no, let's take away the words stronger, better, out of our vocabulary for a second and think about the way that our brain works, okay? Think about the way our body works in general, okay? Our body is always adapting to the environment around it, okay? So let's say that we have this knowledge of chess that we are all moving towards, okay? The full understanding of the game of chess, somewhere, this sort of arbitrary what have you. And as we practice chess, or we devote our time to chess, or not even chess, we can think about other activities like art, or whatever, weaving, woodworking, anything that you put your time towards, you will start to get better. And once again, let's remove the word better and say that we are moving more towards understanding that particular subject, understanding that particular craft, or what have you. So your brain is rewiring itself and it's adapting to the stimuli, meaning if you put your brain in front of a chess game more often, you're going to start to slowly move towards understanding the game more, okay? However, it's not like here you are, you're moving towards understanding the game or whatever, and you stop and you stay here. No, what happens is when you stop, even if it's for a day or two, you move backwards. Because what would happen if we stopped and then we continued to stay at that particular level? Oh, great. Maybe some people can do that. You go take a 2-month hiatus, you come back, you're just as strong as you were 2 months ago. That's not the reality, because our brain rewires. Now we have other things to worry about and our brain adapts. So you didn't do chess for two months or whatever, but in that 2 months you were doing other stuff. Maybe you were doing artwork, maybe you were doing skateboarding, who knows? Your brain is constantly learning how to adapt to the environment that's in front of it, but by adapting to the environment that's in front of it, it also has to kind of go back to a particular equilibrium. Once again, I'm not saying you're better or worse, you're getting worse or better, you're stupider or smarter or whatever. No, we're either moving towards understanding something better, or if we're not, we're moving towards understanding something else better. And by moving towards something else better, we're moving away from knowing this better. Okay, so it's a constant dynamic movement. Same with our body, same with like physical body. I mean, think about it. Let's say a bodybuilder, okay? Somebody who spends like 5 hours at the gym every day, building up his body to, look muscular and really high physique. Let's say I take that person and I drop him on an uninhabited island, and I tell him this is where you're going to be living. Do you think that physique that that person has developed all those years, do you think that it's going to stay that built up a long time? No, no, no. In fact, a couple of months will go by and that person will lose a lot of that muscle mass and he's going to be a totally different person because our body adapts to the environment. In fact, the reason being is that bigger muscles actually consume a lot more energy. And if I drop you on an uninhabited island where there's a scarcity in food and nourishment, those muscles are better get smaller so that your metabolism gets smaller so that you can survive because this is a survival mechanism. A leaner person that doesn't weigh a whole lot consumes less food, has smaller kind of less metabolic rate maybe, and is more likely to survive in that environment than a really big bodybuilder because the really big bodybuilder needs like 34,000 calories a day to maintain that muscle mass. So it's maladaptive. It's not adapted. So what's going to happen is in a couple of months that that bodybuilder is going to get slimmer. And if he's going to be like, oh my God, I lost all that muscle mass, I lost all that weight, is he going to be sitting there and saying, oh man, all those years that I put forth and now I'm like skinny as a whip and I feel so bad. Maybe I've never been cut out for bodybuilding, maybe I'm just not so good or whatever. No, he's adapting to the new environment that he's in. Okay? And so there is no better or worse. It's just adapting towards this or adapting towards something else. So I mean, I encourage everybody to who has been in that situation where they haven't been, you guys haven't played chess in a little while but are kind of thinking about getting back but are a little bit hesitant about the fact that you might not be as good anymore. Please just take that step and go back and do what you've wanted to do in the first place, because the reality of the situation is you have to ask yourself why you initially went into playing the game or doing some other activity, because you enjoyed that particular activity, because you weren't so much concerned about, I'm really only into chess so that I can improve myself as a chess player so I can be better than everybody else. I mean, that's not a good reason. It's really about, hey, I enjoy playing the game because I enjoy playing the game. Because I am not necessarily trying to show off, because I enjoy playing the game. And then it doesn't matter how much time you've spent not playing the game. If you go back, you're going to realize the reason why you picked up the game in the first place was just that you were getting some kind of enjoyment out of it. So, and like I said, grandmasters are able to not only move towards understanding chess a lot quicker than some of the other regular chess players like us, mere mortals, but they're also spending a lot more time, and the way their brain is wired is differently. In a lot of cases, they're just more have more brain development in the area that's basically responsible for being able to play chess better. So they realize that from the start, and they kind of have been able to move themselves towards understanding chess a lot quicker than some of us. And they but perhaps maybe their brain is wired in such a way that maybe they might not be able to adapt as quickly to the changing environment. So if we take some big grandmaster and put him on an uninhabited island, maybe in that particular situation they would have a hard time adapting. So I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that where there's a give, there's a take, and I feel like don't just don't feel like, oh man, if I can't be a grandmaster, if I can't reach at least a 2000 level in chess ELO, then I'm not even gonna try, because what's the point? Well, what's the point of me having this chess channel if I can never be as big as Mr. Beast? I can always set expectations really high, and then that could lead to disappointment. But just understanding that the reason why I make these chess videos is so I can share things with you, and so that I can make you think and make you enjoy chess sets and chess merchandise. That's what it's all about. If I enjoy the process of creating for you guys and sharing with you guys, then I'll continue doing it. Okay, so, but anyways, hopefully you found this little tidbit, interesting, and hopefully by the time you finish watching this video, You know, what I would advise for you is, if you have extra time, just go play a game. Go play a game. Go start a game. Even if you haven't played a game in a while, just go and play a game. Well, that's about it for this video, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, as I've really enjoyed sharing this chess set with you guys. Be sure to like this video, be sure to comment. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to head over and subscribe. A click is not a whole lot, but it helps this channel grow, and it helps this channel be visible by other people who might enjoy this type of content. As always, I wish everybody well, stay safe, stay healthy, stay productive, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.